This is the Farm Monitor. For over 50 years, your source for agribusiness news and features from around the Southeast and across the country, focusing on one of the nation's top industries, agriculture. The Farm Monitor is produced by one of the largest general farm organizations, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now here are your hosts, Ray DeLesio and Kenny Burgamy.
All right, welcome to another Farm Monitor. Jennifer Parson filling in for Ray this week, who will be along a bit later in the show. Of course, this guy next to me needs no introduction, but if he really likes you, he'll let you call him Kenny B.
Well, you know, I like everybody, actually. But yes, welcome to the show, and here's a quick glance at what's in store for you. Coming up, for Vidalia onion growers, it's a case of sweet success. Why this year's crop is more than just a product, it's a symbol of resilience and growing demand. Plus,
I'm Ray DeLesio in Oglethorpe County. It's an inside look at the life of rodeo clown Jake Wilcox. From family traditions to facing danger in the arena, his journey will leave you on the edge of your seat. These stories and so much more right now on the Farm Monitor.
As spring unfolds across Georgia, an eagerly awaited tradition signals its arrival: the digging, harvesting, and shipping of the state's renowned onions to stores nationwide. And for all you Vidalia enthusiasts, rejoice, because the Monitor's John Holcomb brings us promising news about this year's crop.
Down in Vidalia onion country in southeast Georgia, growers, packers, and shippers are hard at work harvesting this year's crop of sweet Vidalia onions and getting them sent to stores across the country. As always, it's a time of year growers are excited to see, especially after a great year like this one.
This growing season was, from back in the day, more normal. We actually had a pretty cold winter. Over the couple of years ago, we seem to be having a lot more warmer. December around Christmas time and January's. We almost like it when it's really cold in like January and February, because when we transplant, we want them to stay dormant and not grow too much too early. That allows the quality of the onion to be a lot better when you kind of plant it and let it cut root and just kind of do its thing and not really get too much foliage from the soil temperature being too warm. So this year was pretty well good at that. We had a lot of adequate rainfall. In a lot of ways, we didn't irrigate very much this year. We'd almost be ready to, and it would come enough rain to keep us from doing it, which was a blessing that we conserved a lot more water. But we've been blessed with good stands.
Reiner says that they've harvested a little more than half of their crop so far this season, and says that this year the crop is turning out to be a great one, which is just what growers need after a rough couple of growing seasons.
It's a big capital investment. You know, we purchased this seed in June and July of the year before, and that's a big investment. And then we have a lot of labor to plant that's close to the end of the year. And once we ship these onions and get sales, we don't receive that money until the retailer pays us, which is usually about 30 days. So there's a big amount of time that we have to, a lot of expense and debt that we have to hold for several months. And that's stressful enough in a good economy, but when you add the bad economy to it, it makes the stress levels a lot harder on the farmers.
And according to Reiner, demand for Vidalia onions has continued to grow year after year, as he says more and more people have begun to recognize the value in their product, which of course is nothing but great news for growers.
Everybody that we talk to is very interested in the Vidalia onion. Sweet onion sales in general have increased every year because of the more people eating at home since COVID. And so that's resurged our interest in our product because we are the sweet onion leader. And we have had a lot of interest from retailers, other production regions that they get onions from in other parts of the year have struggled with crops. And so with our crop looking good, there's been a lot of interest in Vidalia onions, and we're excited about that.
Reporting in Glenville for the Farm Monitor, I'm John Holcomb.
With the latest USDA report showing agriculture being responsible for more than $18 billion every year to Georgia's economy, state lawmakers recognize the importance of strengthening the industry moving forward.
It's one of the many reasons why Governor Brian Kemp signed 9 new pieces of legislation into law, with many of those addressing some of the biggest issues facing producers, including foreign investors buying up land. Damon Jones breaks it all down for us.
While the Farm Bill might be stuck in limbo in the nation's capital, Georgia farmers received some good news in Valdosta, where Governor Brian Kemp signed into law a number of bills aimed at helping the agricultural industry. And the most talked about was a piece of legislation that prohibits certain foreign entities from buying up farmland.
The governor signed Senate Bill 420 today, something that's been a priority of mine and our office, as well as many members of the General Assembly, and we appreciate his work on that to protect farmland and protect agricultural land in the state of Georgia from those foreign adversaries that want to do harm to the United States. And so it's a big day for agriculture. It's a big day to protect our state's #1 industry.
Well, I mean, look, states all over the country are addressing that. It's a national security issue, and you know, we were very thoughtful about how we did that. A lot of great legislative leadership on that, and honored to sign it. It's the right thing to do.
12 other states enacted similar policies last year in an effort to address the dwindling number of farm acres and strengthen national security.
In agriculture, one of the key things you need to be successful is land. It's a key component of being able to grow crops or livestock or poultry. And if you don't have land, you can't participate in agriculture. So protecting agricultural land is key. It is vital. And there's a lot of different ways that we do that. But obviously protecting our ag interest in the state and protecting our ability to feed, clothe, and shelter ourselves is vital. Agriculture is national security.
That was far from the only piece of legislation being signed, as House Bill 827 increases the penalty for cattle theft, Senate Bill 436 expands the use of farm-use vehicles, and Senate Bill 340 introduces tax reform policy to help alleviate some of the rising input costs.
In agriculture right now, we're seeing significant issues in input costs, whether inflation and the issues that we're dealing with on the farm directly. I know I see it in my own operation and the increased cost. The legislation, one of them that we signed today, or the governor signed today, dealing with specifically with DEF fluid, is a perfect example of how we're working to address those issues on the farm, where previously DEF fluid was not considered a tax-exempt input in agriculture. You know, as you know, in agriculture, DEF fluid is a vital component and a required component to run equipment today.
The location of this signing was no coincidence, as Governor Kemp wanted to send a strong message to the rural community that legislators are looking out for them.
Yeah, look, it is so important for us to be in South Georgia to let people know what we're doing to support our farm families, agribusiness, economic development, things that we've done in the budget. Myself and a lot of other people realize the strength that we have in rural Georgia. We want to continue for people to have opportunity all over the state, no matter their zip code.
Reporting from Valdosta, I'm Damon Jones for the Farm Monitor.
After the break, the incredible journey of Georgia's own Jake Wilcox, from cow-catching kid to professional rodeo clown. Laughs, sacrifices, and family bonds define his incredible story.
As the nights stretch longer and the air starts to warm, there's a familiar excitement here in Georgia. It's rodeo season. And where there's rodeo action, there's bound to be thrills, spills, and plenty of laughter thanks to everyone's favorite entertainer, the rodeo clown.
Ray D'Alessio introduces us to Jake Wilcox, a Georgia native and true cowboy at heart, who found a way to combine his love for rodeo with his passion for making people smile.
While Jake Wilcox's journey as a rodeo clown might seem surprising to some, it was destined to be a part of his life from the very beginning. Born and raised in the Athens area, the rodeo culture runs deep in Jake's family. Growing up, he watched his father dazzle the crowd with his performances. So naturally, Jake wanted to follow in his footsteps.
I grew up wanting to be a cowboy. And we went and caught cows. People have cows get loose. My dad was the guy they called. You know, he was the cow 911. And so we'd go catch cows. We'd do this and cowboying and all that stuff.
But Jake's path to becoming a professional rodeo clown was full of twists and turns. Initially, he considered riding bulls himself, like some of his college rodeo team friends at UGA. However, he soon realized that his true talent was bringing laughter to the arena rather than facing off against ferocious beasts or riding their backs while holding on for dear life.
You have to have a certain mentality to be a bullfighter, to be willing to just run in there with reckless abandon and try to save somebody that made a conscious decision to get on a bull. I was always cutting up and always having a good time and never bashful about getting in front of people and doing stuff. You know, I auctioneered from the time I was a little kid, and so getting a microphone and putting it in my face wasn't something I was afraid of.
At one point in his career, Jake traveled the country nearly every weekend and quickly rose to prominence as one of the most popular rodeo clowns on the circuit. With a knack for modern humor and a bag full of tricks, he effortlessly keeps the audience entertained no matter the circumstances. And make no mistake about it, everything Jake does inside that arena serves a purpose and is carefully thought out long before the rodeo ever begins. But occasionally, things happen. And over the course of his career, Jake has had to sacrifice himself in order to save a rider from serious injury.
Yeah, we had some stuff like that. Now, did I get any big broken bones and hospital stays and all this stuff? No. Was there a few times that, you know, you wiped off a little blood and talked about, you know, that you might be hearing bells for a few days? Yeah, it happens.
There's might have been a handful of times where I wished he wouldn't have done something, or I think that bull's a little rank or he's a little hot and he's hunting for the barrel, and he hits the barrel and Jake's inside of it and he's hitting it and he's hitting, that barrel is rolling and rolling. And there's been a couple times that Jake doesn't just pop up out of the barrel and I'm going, my heart's racing. Jake's not popping up. But at the end of the day, he always pops up. He always makes a joke about it. It can be dangerous, but Jake is smart. And I always tell him, I'm like, please be careful, please be smart. It's not worth it, you know? And at the end of the day, he's smart. He pays attention, he knows what he's doing, and he helps the bullfighters, he helps the bull riders, but he also keeps himself safe. Because at the end of the day, being my husband and being the father of our children is the #1 most important thing at the end of the day.
Words of wisdom from the lady Jake says is the love of his life, his wife Lauren, and the two share an incredible bond. Lauren is also a UGA grad and a competitive roper when she's not serving as a special education teacher in Oglethorpe County. Love blossomed between the two when they were students in Athens, and they quickly became inseparable. With their shared passion for rodeo, they traversed the country together, creating cherished memories both in and out of the arena. However, life changes, and so too did Jake and Lauren's. The arrival of their 3 young kids, including twin boys, altered their perspective. The once incessant 45 weeks a year travel schedule, well, that now takes a back seat to family life.
I hope that they have something to do with horses or something to do with farming. Riley's kind of getting into wanting to buy her own cows. Her daddy has taught her how to invest her money in cows, how much it costs a month, how much they can weigh, how much you got to do this for them, and then you can turn around and sell them for a profit. So she might go that route and be more of a farmer, a cattle farmer versus a rodeo queen.
My granddad managed a 10,000 acre cattle farm in Montezuma, Georgia, and that's where my dad grew up. And he grew up, they had to get up every day and get on a horse and go do something with cattle. You know, it's not necessarily that I have to get up every day and get on a horse and go tend to a cow necessarily to make a living, but we've gotten to go to a lot of places because of horses and cows and taking that lifestyle into a more urban setting and showing it to people. It's almost more of an educational thing. A lot of people don't look at rodeo that way. They look at it as entertainment. But, you know, really part of the thing that's been some of my drive is that it is educational, that people can see that way of life.
And although Jake has cut back on his extensive travel, he didn't bid farewell altogether to his beloved rodeo clown career. He now selectively attends rodeos, focusing on events close to home, where he can spend time with the family while still doing what he loves.
We still do the Athens Rodeo. I still go bail out some of my stock contractor buddies when they call me and say, hey, I had somebody got sick, or this guy broke his leg and he can't come, and we still go do some of those. But as far as being full-time rodeo clowning, we've had to back off that. And it's not to say that, there's some rodeo clowns that have pretty long careers, well up into their, 60s, 70s. And I'd say when the kids get a little older, we'll go back to going and doing a few more. But as far as full-time 45 weekends a year, we don't do that much anymore.
Again, that's Ray D'Alessio reporting. When he's not entertaining crowds, you'll find Jake at the Northeast Georgia Livestock in Athens, where he serves as an auctioneer and administrative assistant. He also sells real estate with Iris Inc. Realty in Arnoldsville. Up next, see for yourself the havoc invasive feral swine can cause on peanut farms in Georgia and the heartbreaking impact they have on the nesting sea turtles of Cumberland Island.
Georgia Farm Bureau membership is one of the many ways that you can support agriculture in our state. Every member is part of the growing voice that stands beside those who grow our food and fiber. As a grassroots organization, your membership dollars directly support the farmers in your own community, farmers you know. Do you have to have insurance with us to be a member? The answer is no. We invite anyone to become a member. All you need is a strong passion for the ag industry. We believe in the future of agriculture, and we hope you do too. Join today at gfb.org. With members like you, the opportunities are endless.
Feral swine are not supposed to be here. They're abundant everywhere in the state of Georgia. They are very adaptable species. Their survivability is uncanny, and the reproductive rate is not matched by any mammal their size or bigger. So when you include all three of those items, they are the perfect, ultimate invasive species.
We're in Newton, Georgia. They're real hot right now.
Oh yeah, that's
You want one bag? Yeah, the peanuts are good for you. Yeah. Boil them, you can bake them, fry them. There's a lot of ways to do them. I like to boil. I like bake, I like them all.
Georgia peanuts are worth hundreds of millions of dollars to the state's economy and tens of thousands of jobs. When I was a kid growing up, seeing a wild hog was almost non-existent. You just never saw them, and now it's just so common. If a hog destroys an acre of peanuts, then we've lost 5,000 pounds. Ergo, 5,000 jars of peanut butter aren't hitting the grocery store shelves. Yeah, you'll leave a peanut field freshly planted at night and come back the next morning and it's just destroyed.
Pigs cause a lot of damage to the producers, particularly during this time of year, during the planting season. They wreak havoc on these peanuts. A lot of times these farmers, it's a song that gets played over and over on repeat throughout Georgia, where farmers are having to replant because the pigs are coming out and following that planter. They got a better GPS than the tractor itself and pick up each individual little seed kernel.
You're timing it to plant it at the right time, and when those hogs come in and destroy that crop that you've planted, they're destroying the timing, that not only all the effort that you've put into getting that crop planted, but the timing and the moisture that you have in the soils to get the crop growing, taper off with the damage, you know what I mean? So you can cross the rows as you need to. So when we're faced with a replant scenario from the feral hog damage, it's timing issue, it's a huge labor and equipment issue, it's land preparation issue, it's thousands of dollars to replant a crop. To have a crop like that being destroyed by a non-native invasive species is frustrating.
USDA Wildlife Services is trying to be very, very aggressive and proactive in providing these guys assistance through operational control. You know, here in Georgia, pigs are showing up in areas where they've never historically been. That wasn't a natural range expansion or migration, if you will. That was 100% done for hunting opportunities. It's so important to incorporate other techniques such as large crowd-style trapping, where you can target that entire family group. You can have multi-generational effects by removing 14, 15, 16, 20, 30 pigs at one time versus 2 or 3. It's imperative, if you're going to be effective to control feral swine, you've got to incorporate an integrated approach. Recreational sport hunting will never control the problem we have in the state of Georgia.
Cumberland Island National Seashore is the largest barrier island in the coast of Georgia. It's 36,000 acres of land when you count wetlands and uplands. It became a national seashore in 1972. National Park Service owns and manages it. Typical morning, I'll be up before dawn. I try to leave the waterfront in St. Mary's right at dawn to get across about a 15-minute ride down the St. Mary's River over to the south end of the island. In the 1990s on Cumberland, there were high feral swine numbers. The loss of sea turtle nests in that decade was extremely high. 2000, it peaked at 67% of the nests were hit. And so that triggered the Park Service to do an interagency agreement with Wildlife Services at the time. This is where she crawled out of the water to go up to nest, and then the marks here is where she came back and went back to the ocean. So we're just going to follow the crawl up and try to determine how she did when she laid the nest here. Sea turtles are an indicator of overall health of the ocean system. Huge effort, especially in the United States, and that's kind of taken over into other countries to protect, monitor, and protect their nesting. Female's going to nest roughly 6 times in the summer. It'll be about 2 weeks between each nest. And so our early nest will have anywhere from 100 to maybe 140, 160. Usually her last nest might have as few as, say, 40 or 60 eggs in it. During the nesting season, we need somebody on the beach every day from basically the 1st of May through the middle of October. So this nest will be marked. It'll be screened for predator control or predator protection. Predators out here are typically feral hogs, raccoons, coyotes, typically diggers. And so that screen will stay on the nest. Incubation period on average is 55 to 60 days, so the screen will stay on this nest until it hatches. And knowing what was here in the 90s and when we first started in 2000, and then comparing that to now, the hog population is almost insignificant now. So I'm really proud of the fact that this project has shown significant results as far as almost eliminating the level of hog predation on sea turtle nests.
Well, the realistic goal is to suppress damage for agriculture producers and reduce those impacts to native species. So our hope, if we want the habitat to revert back to its native state, reduce the competition from these exotic species to native species, we hope to reduce those populations and reduce that damage.
If we stop our efforts, the hogs are going to come back and continue. It's a huge cooperative effort between landowners, between the USDA Wildlife Services guys. It just takes a big effort to combat what these hogs can do to you.
Our thanks to USDA for that story, and as always, thanks to you, the viewers, for making this show possible.
Take care, everybody. We'll see you next time right here on the Farm Monitor. Stay safe, and as always, have a great week.